on this auspicious day of Janmashtami. We wish you joy, peace, and divine blessings. We are honored to present a heartwarming conversation with Lieutenant General A.K. Singh, exploring the profound connection between spirituality and life, insights that transcend the ordinary, offering guidance and wisdom from a spiritual perspective.
What is self-realization? A lot of people think, you'll see a light, you'll have this experience, you'll have that experience. In my mind, frankly speaking, you don't have to see a light because there is no path. It's a journey inwards. It's a journey inwards. हिंदी में बोलते हैं ये गूंगे का गुड़ है. गूंगे का गुड़.
Didn't understand.
चख लिया. गूंगा he can't speak. तो चख लिया. अब चख लिया है. स्वाद महसूस कर लिया. But how does a गूंगा tell somebody? Explain कि ये स्वाद है. This is something beyond the mind.
What is the end goal of spirituality?
While mankind has made huge progress, but are people happy? Is there peace?
But it can never go if you're living in a materialistic world.
The thoughts which are supposed to be your instrument have enslaved you, and you become the ship when you are attached with your consciousness. You are not this body, you are not the mind, you are not the thought, you are not the emotion.
Today, we're diving into the topic at first glance might seem surprising: spirituality and the armed forces. How do these two seemingly different worlds intersect? How can the life of a soldier, defined by discipline, duty, and often conflict, also be a life of deep spirituality? To help us explore these questions, we are honored to have with us a distinguished guest, a man who has spent decades serving the nation and guiding thousands of soldiers. Recently retired as the Army Commander of the Southern Command, General A.K. Singh is not just a decorated military leader, but also a profound thinker who has dedicated much of his life to understanding and living by the principles of spirituality. In this episode, General A.K. will break down the concept of spirituality, demystifying common myths, and explaining why spirituality is not just for monks or the religious, but a fundamental way of life. He will discuss how spirituality differs from religion, emphasizing that while religion is a path to God, spirituality is about finding God within. As he draws from the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, General A.K. will explain how these ancient wisdoms have shaped his own life and career, providing him with a moral compass and a sense of peace even in the most challenging times. He also shares practical tips and suggestions on how we can all incorporate spirituality into our daily lives, whether you're in the military, a corporate office, or any other walk of life. General A.K.'s insights are sure to inspire you. So stay tuned as we embark on a journey to understand the deeper dimensions of life with lessons from one of India's most esteemed military leaders, General A.K. Singh. Let's get started. Before we start today's conversation, I've got one request. If you ever enjoyed the video or got any value out of it, please subscribe to it. It really motivates the team and helps us bring bigger guests. Thank you again and enjoy the rest of the episode. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Shivam. Very kind of you.
Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate you for this.
Thank you, Shivam.
Sir, you recently retired. I would like to understand your mindset since your retirement. You've been serving in the army for the last 44 years. And now there's a transition from the military life. How is that feeling for you, sir?
I think it's a wonderful feeling, Shivam. One is that you have served for about 44 years, so over 4 decades. And I always maintain that wearing uniform is, I think, the biggest honor that a country can bestow on its citizen. So to wear uniform for 44 years and to retire as an army commander at the head of the oldest and the largest command, which is good about 41% of the Indian landmass, comprising of 11 states, 3 union territories, and to retire in superannuate with your honor, integrity, and respect intact, I think is a huge thing. So I'm really enjoying it. It's a beautiful, smooth transition. And since you said that the issue and the talk is about spirituality, I absolutely attribute this to the spirituality. Because when you are into it, when you are into the moment, then transitions just don't affect you. Then you develop and you practice what you know as detachment. So the moment it's done. And you very seamlessly, you transition into the new. So I'm really enjoying. It has been just few days.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying these few days because earlier there was never a dull moment. and there are a lot of people around you, and you're always trying to catch up with the schedule, numerous meetings, moving around quite a lot. Now there is a stillness, there is leisure, and there's a lot of reflection, there's a lot of contemplation, there's a lot of ease. So I think I'm really enjoying this and looking forward to it. I have always maintained that 60 to 70 years is a beautiful time, because you have loads of experience, and you have no liability. My house would be ready in a couple of months, and the house is there, the car is there, children are well settled. So there's no liability at all, and you have experience,
Right.
and you have nothing to prove. So I think this is the best time when you can give back.
Right.
I think there is a lot that has happened. There's a loads of experience, and especially at this juncture, I think it's important for all of us who are in this age bracket. I think to give back towards towards society in general, towards nation building, and for that it is immaterial. You can do it in personal capacity. If you have an appointment, you can do it in official capacity. It could be big, it could be small. It just doesn't matter. Giving back is important.
But that should be anyway, right? Without
True.
being without the age of
Absolutely.
60 also, even at my age.
Absolutely. But then what happens, Shivam, is that you are so busy and involved that it doesn't leave you. You're only with that sphere of work, that sphere. But here, it's absolutely open. The field is wide open. Field is wide open.
Right.
So the field in which you feel yourself, you can really give and you can select. You have that freedom. You have that freedom. So that's what it is all about.
So I would take this opportunity to congratulate you for your 44 years of service and salute you as well for all that you've done while serving also for the society. Like, I have noticed a lot of things that you used to do when I was around you, but salute, sir.
Thank you. Really appreciate that.
I would like to understand from you, sir, how did you find a connect to spirituality while being an army officer or army commander? Because it's difficult to really think about spirituality when you have so many people that you have to take care of.
True.
So where did your connect come from?
I would say that all of us, by default, have this spirituality within us, because this knowledge is not outside of you. This knowledge is absolutely within you. What happens over a period of time, they call it prarabdha, and they also call it conditioning in the present life. So because of your prarabdha, because of your vritti vasana, because of your conditioning, there is a layer, over that knowledge base, over that mirror, over that shining light which is there inside you. There are layers and layers of, you can say, dirt. So that has to be cleaned. So by default, I think everybody, because I have been speaking to large number of people, and invariably, I think there is always, you are able to ignite a spark. People come up to you, okay, yes, they can relate it to it. And I think that further validates that it's an innate thing. It's there in all of us. Now in army, yes, there are a lot of myths. One is people are not clear about what is spirituality. If I have to just dwell on this, what is spirituality, I generally tell people that spirituality is a science. It's a science to understand who am I, and it's a personal voice. It's a personal discovery. It's a personal journey of understanding. Imagine, Shivam, if you do not understand yourself, if I have not been able to sort of resolve myself, then how am I expected, to do anything else? Let's see, I am an army commander. If I have not been able to resolve the conflicts within, and if I have not been able to understand who am I think then whatever else I do is from a very conditioned mindset, But if I am able to resolve the conflicts within, it's very easy to resolve the conflicts outside of you. That's where the spirituality sort of kicks in. So it's a science. Then there are a lot of myths related with spirituality. A lot of people would say in army, like spirituality would always talk of compassion, would talk of love, would talk of non-violence. Yes, I absolutely agree with you. It is talking of that. Definitely it is talking of that. It is talking of something else also. Everything has to be put into context. So one of the main myths about spirituality is issue between religion and spirituality. So that is something that I want to absolutely clearly make a distinct differentiation. And the distinct differentiation is spirituality is the basis. It is the foundation. And from this foundation and this foundational percept have emanated all the religions.
True.
Because all the religions by and large talk of the same thing.
The same thing, yeah.
And that same thing, that common ground is basically spirituality. So it is the root. It is the root. A religion is a path to lead on to that, to lead to self-discovery. And spirituality is talking about self-discovery of who am I. So it is a path. The religion is a path. It's a code of conduct that this is what you have to do. So it gives you a path, and there could be n number of paths. But when you talk of spirituality, it's a very personal journey. You could take any of the path, but finally you get back to spirituality. So that's why it is important to get directly to spirituality. But then it is not everybody's cup of tea. When I say it is not everybody's cup of tea, depending on your evolution, depending on your understanding, depending on your exploration, you will be able to relate. Like if I tell somebody, just I pick up somebody and say that you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the thought, you are not, he will laugh at me. He will laugh at me. So it's not for everybody. And that is why, that's where the religion play a very important role, because religion becomes a vehicle, for someone to reach that end. So that's why, let's say for example, in the Hinduism, you will have a lot of karma kand. My grandmother, my dadi, had not gone to a school, but she could read Gita. Absolutely, in the morning, early in the morning, 3:30, she'll get up, she'll take a bath, she'll open the Gita, she will read the Gita. She knew that today is, so and so, she has to, today is Ekadasi, आज चावल नहीं खाना है, आज व्रत रखना है, आज मैंने दान देना है. Now, these are what? These are all paths which are leading slowly over a period of time. A common person would be able to tread that path, which will finally make him understand the spiritual percept. So that is why both are important. I am not saying they are not important, but then spirituality should not be confused with the religion per se.
It is confused, and we'll get to that later. But like you said,
but also, just sorry to cut you short, Shivam, because there are other myths also. The second myth is about why should army talk about spirituality. One of the most profound books on the spirituality is Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And where was it delivered? On a battlefield. To whom was it delivered? To a commander-in-chief. Why was it delivered? Because he lost faith in the cause. And the Lord Krishna had to give this sermon, had to give this gyan on a battlefield in Kurukshetra to the commander-in-chief to reinstate the faith in the cause. And imagine having told Arjun about Sankhya Yoga, about Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and finally he says, Uttisht Kauntaye Yudhaya Krit Nishchay. He says, please rise, pick up your Gandiv and fight. Fight for what? Fight to establish dharma. Dharma means model code of conduct, the righteous conduct. It is not religion. It is the righteous conduct, the model code of conduct too. So if there is a violation, you should be able to pick up arms to establish the violation, not for your own personal glory, not for your own personal gain. That's why entire teaching of Gita could be summarized into just two words: Niswart Kartavya, selfless service. So if you are doing a selfless service, I think you are absolutely acting in adherent of the dharma. So this is the second myth that I wish to bust, that I think spirituality and army have always had a very, that's why we have Sarv Dham Sthal, in all the units, all the stations, and every religion is given the due importance, because every religion is finally leading to spirituality. In Sikhism, Guru Gobind Singh, I think it was a spiritual army. He, I think, exemplified. Imagine the sacrifices that he gave. He could do that, and he could give those sacrifices because it was rooted in spirituality. So this is the second myth. Third, lot of people say, ye to umr nahi hai. Lot of young, Shivam, young people like you, why should I go into it spirituality at so early? एक बार जब retire हो जाएंगे तो it is the domain of the people who have retired. No, as early as possible, as early. And why I say it, because a lot of people have this myth that spiritual existence and the material existence are sort of exclusive to each other. Well, I think the spiritual understanding makes you empowered to go through the vicissitudes of life, which you will encounter in your material existence.
True.
Unless and until you have the vehicle and the profound understanding of spirituality, you will find very difficult to tread the path of material existence. So here you are. So spirituality is very important for you in your daily day-to-day affairs. Why should you spend it for retirement? I think as early as possible. There are a lot of people also have this myth कि शायद भगवे वस्त्र पहन के you'll have to go to some gufa or Chandra, no, you have to be here doing, performing your duties. Duties are the most important. Karma Yoga, I think duty is the most important.
Yeah.
So here itself, understand and act in accordance with the spiritual percept. So these are the myths that come, and that's why these myths is important to actually first
Clear them.
clear the air about this particular thing.
Yeah. Spirituality is something that comes to you. If I am not ready for it, I can't go seeking for it. When did it come to you, sir? How did it come to you?
I would say that I think it was right from the beginning. It was there, but if I have to tell you in a very focused manner, it started in Glacier, Siachen Glacier. It's a very interesting story. So Siachen Glacier, when a unit goes, I was the second in command. So my commanding officer had taken the first induction for a period of 3 months, and I was responsible for the second induction. And you are there for about 3 months, but if you take the induction, it spills over to good about 5 to 6 months. So I was there in the second induction, and it was during winters. There in my base, I used to take a walk every day, morning and evening, 45 to 50 minutes of walk. I used to stand at a point which was the forward logistic base, and from there most of the glacier is visible. So I used to look at the glacier. I used to look at the might of the nature. All around you, you're surrounded by peaks which are more than 20,000. All 20,000 is peak. You have a glacier, the Siachen Glacier, the biggest glacier outside the polar region, 73 kilometers long. Anytime, anything can happen. A crevasse can open. A patrol can go down into the crevasse. An avalanche can come and take your post. And you are there, and you are known as NG Tiger. You are responsible for not only the sovereignty of that piece of land for your country, but you are also equally responsible for the lives of the people that you command. Now, you as a minuscule person, as an NG Tiger, how can I do my duty? How do I? Yes, you adhere to the SOPs, you keep talk, you lead, everything is done. But that is the time against this might of nature, and you realize your own insignificance. And I think that is the time possible that revelation came, that if you have to do a task like this, possibly you need to align with a higher power. And I think that's possibly when a very focused realization came, that I think to do and perform my duty of this nature, of this magnitude, in this inhospitable terrain, where the temperature is minus 52, minus 53 degrees Celsius, there are howling winds, and that's the fury of the nature, that's the mightiness of the nature. So then I think it's important to align. And I think that's where, in a very focused manner, the spiritual journey started.
Is there any scriptures that you had read that you had connected this kind of wisdom?
I had read Bhagavad Gita definitely earlier. I had read Bhagavad Gita. I had read a little bit of a Ramcharitmanas. I had read the book The Secret and few others. So I had read the book The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. So I had understanding. I had definitely an understanding. I used to chant Gayatri Mantra. So all this was definitely there. And I also feel that for this, you need nothing at all. A lot of people say, you need someone to this thing. I think first and foremost, what you need is an intent. You express an intent, what we call a sankalp. Okay, I want to tread this path. I want to understand it. The moment you express this intent and that bhav comes into you, that's the time the magic starts. The path will keep opening. The doors will keep opening. And you will find that you will be like, lo and behold, in this, the moment I thought about this, that I need to align with a higher power, I think within next few days, I was to visit Bilafonla. The company commander was Pankaj Singh, who retired recently as a Brigadier Pankaj. He was a company commander there. And we were just talking, I was staying with him and he was talking. And he said, look, sir, you have this spiritual, he told me that, sir, you have this spiritual bent of mind. And I have subscribed to the Self-Realization Fellowship by Yogoda Satsang Society, YSS. And I have a material. Though they said not to share this material, but I am sharing it for a time being. You can return it, so that I think you will find it interesting.
Wow.
You will find it interesting. And this happened just within a couple of days.
Wow.
Imagine, you express an intent, and here it is.
Wow.
So I read that material. I found it very interesting, and I subscribed to it. The SRF, they call it Self-Realization Fellowship. I read through the entire thing, and I think that's when possibly in a more focused manner. And then it just kept developing. So today I have done the Isha Yoga. I have done the Shri Art of Living. I have done Vipassana. I have done Kriya Yoga. But the point is that I am taking what I feel is appropriate to me
at that moment.
Suits. It's because spirituality is a very personal. You don't have to get tied down to a particular this thing. I think it is each to his own. What suits you, you take it. So I take what suits me, and I have developed my own ways to meditate, my own ways to approach the
To
spirituality.
connect with the universe.
Yeah, to connect with the universe and,
And
to understand yourself.
And yourself.
And yourself.
Wow. So you spoke about, like you said, it's a path, it's a journey.
It's a journey.
But is it important to label it a journey when you realize that the spirituality in this world, or even if you don't realize it, you're still on the journey, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shivam, you said the correct thing. You are on a journey. Even without you realizing.
Even if you don't realize.
Even if you don't realize it, you are on a journey. But what happens when you realize it? That's why they say, they call about self-realization. What is self-realization? A lot of people think, you'll see a light, you will have this experience, you'll have that experience. In my mind, frankly speaking, you don't have to see a light. The magic doesn't have to happen. The self-realization is nothing but connecting with your awareness, connecting with your consciousness. Because most of the time you will find we are not aware and we are not conscious. We are just going about doing everything in our life like a zombie. It's like we are programmed. We are not into it. We are not into it. So, connecting with your awareness. When your attention is in the awareness, you are a self-realized person. That's it.
Right.
And once it happens, it's a no return. It's a no return. Then you stay in that.
True.
Stay in that. You might be doing everything like a normal person, but you dwell in that. The attention is now into awareness. Initially, yes, you'll have to keep, it'll be there for a little while. But then at some point of a time, something will happen when that attention will get established, in the awareness and in the consciousness. And that's what is self-realization.
That sums up the line that is, we are spiritual beings.
Absolutely.
Who have come to this world for a human experience.
Absolutely. And then, the Zen philosophy says it's a pathless path. Because there is no path. It's a journey inwards. It's a journey inwards. So there's no path. You don't have to do this thing. Just understand yourself.
I've got a question for myself, sir. Is there an end goal for spirituality? Is it self-actualization and getting to that? What is the end goal of spirituality?
I think it's to understand yourself completely and to get established in yourself. That is awareness, to get a complete awareness.
Is it also giving up the material life?
I don't think we need to have a goal, because it's again the human mind. The human mind wants to put everything in very concrete terms.
As a goal, as an objective.
Terms. I say this is something beyond the mind. So if it is something beyond the mind, it's something like, I give this simile, it's like pole vaulter theory. So a pole vaulter would need the pole to reach a certain distance, but to transcend, he has to let go the pole. If he doesn't have to let go the pole, he won't be able to transcend. So the intellectual exploration and understanding and all this mind will take you to a certain level, but not beyond it. For that, you have to discard whatever that knowledge and whatever that exploration, that is only for understanding. Now you have to get into the experiential part, and you have to let go of this pole. Then only you can transcend. It is transcending the mind, because I think it's a limitation of the mind. I don't think with mind you can go only to a certain distance. Now you have to get into the experiential realm. हिंदी में बोलते हैं ये गूंगे का गुड़ है. गूंगे का गुड़.
Didn't understand.
चख लिया. गूंगा he can't speak. So चख लिया. अब चख लिया है. स्वाद महसूस कर लिया. But how does a गूंगा tell somebody explain कि ये स्वाद है? तो ये गूंगे का गुड़ है. आपने एक बार महसूस कर लिया. आप किसी को बता नहीं सकते कि क्या है. But you are there in that state of bliss. Sat, Chit, Anand. They call it. Sat is truth. Chit is consciousness. And Anand is bliss. So truth, consciousness and bliss. Then you dwell in that state of Sat, Chit, Anand.
Coming back to the fact that there's evolution of your soul, because that's the reality is soul. The soul has all the answers.
True.
So that is what it brings you closer to spirituality, or is it your quest from your mind that brings you closer to it?
I think it's a very innate thing. Once you start treading this path, the guidance will come from within. And if the guidance has come from without, from somewhere else, you will find it will just open up. Somebody will come and tell you, like for me, the SRF, the Self-Realization Fellowship happened. So it's something like this. It will come from somewhere. And I also say that you don't have to get overawed. You just start on this journey. That's it. Start taking baby steps, small steps. And you will find that the guidance will come. The events will happen. That will automatically, sahaj hai ye, sahaj. It's not complicated. If you make it complicated, I think then there is something wrong. It's like meditation. People will say, sir, I sit in meditation, but wo to thoughts bahut zyada aate. So because you are making an effort
to stop them,
it is effortless. The meditation has to be effortless. If you are making an effort, if you are concentrating on something, Well, then you are putting, the mind is getting involved. And I said, it's beyond the mind, it's beyond the mind. So if someone has to tread the path and if I have to lay down this thing, I would say you have to just make a little thing. Before that, you must understand what are the tenets of spirituality. What does it all involve if you have to break it down into something very concrete? Well, I would say the first and foremost is, and why is it important? First and foremost is, why is it important? Why should you tread this path of spirituality? So you look around, while mankind has made huge progress, but are people happy? Is there peace? People are not happy despite the progress. There is not peace. I think there are so many conflicts happening all around. There are conflicts. One is a conflict outside and one is a conflict within. One is a Kurukshetra outside and a Kurukshetra inside. So people are, I think this is the spirituality is the only way to provide answers to all these issues and to establish peace and order. And why I say is, you will do everything and you will see everything, but you will not find peace till the time you have been able to resolve this conflict within yourself.
True.
Coming back to a very basic fact, I'll tell people that you are not living, you are dead. And I said, I'll prove it to you right now. I said, look, you took bath in the morning. Just two incidents I said. I said, you took bath in the morning. Tell me how many of you actually felt the water on your skin? How many of you felt that joy that water, that cold water brings or a warm water brings? The cleanliness that it brings, the joy with it. Because when you were taking bath, your mind was somewhere else. Okay, so the joy would not come. Now you had breakfast in the morning. Did you have a good look at the plate? Did you actually, the fragrance that was there, did you notice the fragrance? When you put the morsel, did you actually taste it? Because while you were having breakfast, your mind was somewhere else. So the point that I am making is, mindfulness is the most important thing.
Attribute, yeah.
Unless and until and since the mindfulness is not there, so you are not living. Because to stay in the present moment is living. If you are not in the present moment, where could you be? In the past
or future.
If you go to the past, one is the past is not real because it's happened. You can't touch it. It's gone. It's finished. You can't touch it back again. So it's not real. It's not truth. So you are in an unreal world when you go to the past. And then when you dwell in the past, you will have these thoughts. I wish it would have turned out like this. I wish it would have happened like this. So that means you will have a lot of regrets. So there is a negative emotion that is also coming in you, apart from being dwelling in untruth. Or the mind would be in future. And when the mind is in future, again future is not real. You have no idea how it's going to unfold. The next moment, how it is going to unfold, you have no idea at all. So that's not unreal as of now. And when you go to the future, I wish it would happen. I wish I'll get my posting, like for an army officer, whether I'll get posting, whether I'll get promoted. So anxiety is there. So in the past, the regret, and in the future, anxiety is there. In both realms, you are not staying in the truth. The truth and the life is this moment. As I speak to you, Shama, this moment, gone. This moment, you have to be living means you have to continuously stay in the present moment. And if you can stay in the present moment, Shivam, you will be like Aham Brahmasmi. All the power that you have would be there at your beck and call. If you stay in the present moment, that's the problem. We cannot stay. The mind is a monkey mind. In a 24-hour cycle, a mind is thinking 24,000 to 70,000 thoughts. So your mind has got dissipated, the energy has got dissipated into 24 to 70,000 thoughts. Imagine if you can just make it one single-minded thought. You have the complete power at your beck and call. That's how, then you will have, when you say Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahm, it is saying that you have the power within you to manifest divinity. And that divinity you can manifest only when you are there in the present moment and you are not there with the untruth, which is the past or the future. So the moment you start staying in the present moment, so mindfulness is the most important thing. And one of the most beautiful book is by Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now.
Yeah.
I think that's a beautiful book. It's like a classic book.
It is.
Then the another tenet is positive thinking. Whatever may be the situation, it is the human mind which labels a situation like good, bad or ugly. But a situation is a situation. It is neutral. It is there for a purpose. So rather than labeling as good, bad, ugly, I think just see what is the purpose of this. Identify the purpose and stick with the purpose. So there is nothing. So have a positive approach in everything. And Shivam, I can give you a personal example. My wife had chronic renal failure, medical condition. Yes, initially she was shocked. I was also shocked. The life changed. In a moment, the life changed. One moment, everything was fine. I was doing the hair command course, so everything is fine. We were there in Mau. And then suddenly you realize that she's having chronic renal failure, debilitating disease. But after that initial shock, I think both of us talked and we both decided, let's accept. Well, it has happened. What is the alternative with you? If you do not accept, what are you doing? You're resisting it.
True.
Resisting is again a negative connotation and a negative emotion. So accept, but having accepted, now you go about doing things, how to resolve the issue. So, and I must give all credit to my wife, Shalini, that after that initial shock, she just decided she has to stick around. The children are small. I'm also doing well in the service. She wanted me to reach a certain position. And I think she just started smiling. Having accepted the fact that this is the issue, she just started smiling. And never ever complained. In the 14 years that she survived, she never complained as to why me, why it is happening to me. If you ever asked her, she would say, I'm perfectly fine. I'm perfectly fine. But we went about doing things, Together we learned pranic healing. Together we did art of living.
Wow.
Together we did Isha. So all these things we did, she became a Reiki grandmaster. All these things, and we did it all together. Our life changed. So something which a normal common mind would say that it is a very negative thing. Look, your wife is down with. But I think we accepted and we made the most of the situation. The life was absolutely normal. We partied. She was fond of movies. We never missed a show. First day, first show. I was posted in Delhi, and then she knew that if somewhere else, you don't get a ticket in PVR Narayana, you will always get a ticket. So we would mostly land up in PVR Narayana. She was very fond of, we watched, we partied, we went out. And, then ultimately she had a renal transplant. And she survived for about 9 years in that. She lived for 14 years. 14 years is a long time. Then ultimately she had hepatitis C. So it became a double whammy. And hepatitis C you can't treat because that drug is bad for the grafted kidney. So we got into a catch-22 situation. And finally, though there is a drug which came so severe, we administered that drug. She became okay as far as, but by the time the liver had suffered damage. So liver was not in a state to permit a second surgery. They said the liver would not be able to withstand, the anesthetic load also. And so ultimately she passed away on 1st of April 2020. But Shivam, she did everything. In that 14 years, my son got married. She attended the marriage. My daughter, the roka was done, engagement was done. That was like a marriage. The last party that she attended was for this rank of mine, the rank of Lieutenant General.
Wow.
That's the last party that she attended. She knew I would be an army commander. She had even bought the Georgette patches for the army commander, kept it in the mandir. And she told me, the day you become an army commander, please wear it. She had done everything. And to share, which is something very personal to me, Shivam, because it's and I think people must know and should be aware of it. She had gone on ventilator. The last time she was admitted, she came out of ventilator because we used to talk about it very often. And I used to tell her that, look, it was Prince Ram who went for tap to Vanvas for 14 years. It's like a tap. But when he came back, he was not Prince Ram. He was Maryada Purushottam Ram. There was a transformation in that 14 years of tap. It was Prince Siddharth who went and did tap for 7 years. But when he returned, he was the enlightened one. He was the Lord Buddha. I said, look, you are in the same category. For 14 years, you have done tap. And for whom? For the family. It's a sacrifice for the family. Because you wanted to stay, you wanted to do this, your duties, which you thought you need to be around. I said, you are also in the same category. So when you leave and when you depart, you should depart desireless. You should not cling to life. You have done much more than what you could possibly do. It's a sacrifice that you have done. Don't worry about us. We will take care now. We'll be able to do this. She possibly remembered that. She went on ventilator. She came out of ventilator, called for me. And when I came there, she told me, Ab main ja rahi hu. I'm going. It's a huge statement, Shiva. Person who's facing death is announcing it to her partner. And absolutely at peace. At peace that what she had to do, she has done. And now is the time to cast off this body. Because there's so much of pain, and to start on that journey onwards. Onwards. So she shared it with me. And then she asked me, what is the date? So it was 30th of March. And she said, let's celebrate Sanjana's birthday. Sanjana is my daughter, and her birthday falls in April, on 19th of April. She said, let's celebrate. So she's going, announcing, and yet wanting to celebrate the daughter's birthday. So absolutely at peace. She died peacefully, and as a family, we decided we are not going to lament her death. The fortitude, the perseverance, and the courage with which she lived, we'll have to face this situation with the same fortitude, perseverance, and courage. So that's how spirituality enables you to go through the vicissitudes of life. All this was possible because we both were connected with spirituality. That's what spirituality is all
Thank you so much for sharing this story. This is personal story, sir. Through this story, there's so many learnings from it as well.
True.
And it's inspirational. And still, thank you so much for sharing again. I take from it that we need to be in this moment, be present, know that our death can be any side.
Anytime. And have a positive attitude towards whatever may be happening. Acceptance is important. Acceptance is non-judgment. Don't judge any situation. Don't judge a person. You have no idea what the other person is going through.
True.
So what right does it give you to judge a person? Don't judge him. Accept what he is. That's it. And start. That should be the start point rather than judging. So non-judgment, acceptance, positive spirit, and last is gratitude. The most important thing. They say that you're born as a human after 84 लाख योनियों के बाद आपको मानव शरीर मिलता है.
हाँ जी.
It's a great gift because you have two wonderful attributes that nobody else has got in this complete creation, in this complete Brahman. The power of cognition and the free will. Nobody else has got the power of cognition and the free will. Only humans have got. That's why they can shape their destiny the way they want. With these two attributes, you can be out of the cycle of birth and death, what Buddha says, to be out of that and to attain what everybody says, to attain that liberation, self-realization and moksha. Only as humans we have that attribute. To be born as a human is the greatest gift that the divinity can bestow on you. So if I am born as a human, I think it is the greatest gift. Am I expressing gratitude for this greatest gift that the divinity has, given to me? When I sleep and get up in the morning, and when I take the first breath, I am alive. Am I expressing gratitude that I am alive? Because there are so many people who possibly would not get up in the morning.
Yeah.
So gratitude permits you to let things and bounties that are flowing your way. Because if you do not express gratitude, the divinity that is at work would also possibly be restrained. That this is so much has been given, but there is nothing, there is no gratitude. So gratitude opens up the door for more to flow in your life. Most important thing is gratitude.
Gratitude.
And I tell people that for 20 days, a small notebook, before you sleep, just write 10 points. You are grateful for so and so. Grateful to your parents, to your teachers, to the job, that you are alive, to the nature, to the wind, to the water, to the food. There's so many countless number of things. Express gratitude, just 10 points. Do it for about 20 days and see the result which happens.
How important is it to attach an emotion to the gratitude, sir? Because if you're just writing that I'm grateful for that, and the emotion is not connected well.
No. I think it's a very important part because, we exist in various realms. Panch kosh bolte hai hamara jo, Anandamay kosh, Manomay kosh, so there are 5 koshas. So when you have to be complete, you have to be complete in all the koshas. It is not only the Gyanmay kosh or the Anandmay kosh, or the gross body, Sthul Sharir. It has to be in all respects. So emotions are equally important, and especially emotion in spirituality.
Yeah.
So just see, I will tell you the emotions associated: love, compassion, helping nature, empathy. These are extremely important. Unless and until you have, then you are not onto the path of. So emotions are absolutely equally important. Whatever you do, it has to be with that bhav. That bhav is important.
Would you say gratitude as an emotion or an attribute?
One is an attribute, one is an action you are doing. But you are doing an action, gratitude with what?
With love.
With love, with grace. That is more important. If I am expressing gratitude that something more will come into, that's an exchange. That's a transaction.
That's human tendency though.
That's human tendency. But I think one has to rise above this human tendency. So emotion definitely are important.
So for someone who, like you said, we can't force someone to get into spirituality. But if someone
it'll happen automatically.
If someone wanting to learn more about it, what are the first steps for them?
I think very simple things someone can do. One is get up in the morning. I think this today new gen, will have a late night, And well, yes, once in a while, definitely. I'm not saying that you have to. But I think as a common general routine, getting up in the morning is extremely important. That's where the energy is at its fullest. Let's say the time 3:43, they say the Brahm Muhurat starts. 3:43 to the sunrise, around sunrise time is the Brahm Muhurat. Just getting up, just the act of getting up in the morning during Brahm Muhurat is a very beautiful thing. So I'm telling you very practical aspect. You don't. I'm not telling you to read this and read that. Very practical aspect. So get up in the morning. Align with the nature. Absolutely be aligned with the nature. So when I say aligned with the nature is, I tell a lot of people, like in our this thing, naturopathy and Ayurveda, it is mentioned, you have to be connected with the earth at least for about half an hour in a 24-hour cycle. Why? Because you must earth your body.
Yeah.
I'm wearing synthetic cloth. If you put a voltmeter to my body, it will show a charge.
True.
That additional charge is creating some sort of interference with my body's electrical system, because my body also has an electrical system.
Yeah.
My heart is getting pumped by that electrical system. It is having an adverse impact.
Right.
I must earth my body at least. But when is the last time somebody has touched earth? Yes. So
We must do it right now as well.
so touch us. So these are very small thing. So it is a line. Now, because of the cold storage, people are having food items and all which is not there of that particular season. I think just whatever nature gives you in that particular season, have it. Have fresh, not stale, the fresh, packaged. Whatever companies may say, I think a packaged food has an adverse impact on your this thing. And your food habits, and have a discipline in your life. Okay, you are doing your work so and so, your leisure, you are going for a walk in the morning, you are going for a walk in the evening. Food in the evening. So normally, every day you will find that, you're working late, and then there is a party, you have a party, and then towards the late food, the food would be served. And it would be oily food, it would be heavy food. And immediately after that, you go back and go to sleep. Imagine you are going back to, going to sleep on a absolute full tummy. Yeah, while you have slept, mind has slept, but has the body slept? The body has to digest that food. So that means the body is not at rest. So when you get up in the morning, well, your body would not have completely rested. People have been saying that दिन छिपता है, वो सही वक्त है खाना खाने का. Early food, 7:30, 8 o'clock you have food. At least a clear 2 hours before you go to sleep, so that the food is absolutely digested by the time you go to sleep. I'm telling you very, very simple things. You just do this, the spirituality will walk it. If you just do these things, simple things, aligned with the nature is important. Like in our Vastu Shastra, I'm creating my house. I'm making a house in Dehradun. So we have said that it should be aligned, because we are all energy bodies, isn't it? Everything is energy. Finally, if I break myself down, I have a musculoskeletal system, the organs and all. But I break it down, it is made up of tissues.
Right.
Tissues are made up of elements. Elements are made up of, an atom. And what is an atom? Somebody gave a beautiful simile of an atom. An atom is like 5 football fields joined together, one single atom. It's just a simile to understand it. 5 football fields joined together, you put a football in the center. That's the nucleus. That nucleus has got neutron, so a negative charge, and a proton, a positive charge. And in that 5 football field are the electrons, they are carrying a negative charge. So that means it is void, it is space, absolutely space. Atom is nothing but space.
Right.
And carrying a charge, that means energy. Absolutely negligible mass, non-existent mass. There is no mass, it's pure energy. So finally, you and me are a collection of atoms. We are energy. The energy is interacting. Somebody walks into your office and you have the energy is already interacting. You immediately form an impression.
True.
A positive or a negative, this thing, whatever it is, but there is energies are in. Finally, we all are energy. And if we all are energies, I think that it is prudent, it is logical to stay in tune and in harmony with the energy. With your biorhythm, your body has a biorhythm. The biorhythm doesn't say that you sleep at 12 o'clock in the night and you continue sleeping at 12 in the afternoon. The biorhythm says, and you just see, when is the birds start singing and birds start getting up. You see nature, they're birds, they're absolutely programmed. So be programmed, go with the program of the nature. Be in tune with the energy.
So you're saying everything is vibration.
Everything is vibration. Everything is vibration. They say when this entire Brahmand was created, it was nishabd, nistabd. There was no sound. So the Brahmand was there, but there was no energy. So how did the energy come? As per our mythology, the Shiv played his damru, and from the damru emanated the Maheshwar Sutras. There's 26 syllables, and they say the Maheshwar Sutras are the origin of life. And these Maheshwar Sutras are what? I own, rel rak, I ong, I ouch, hayavarat, lan mangananam, jabai ghadgash, jabgardash, kafa chatata chatatava, kapaya shashashar, hal. This is Maheshwar Sutra, the origin of the life in this entire cosmos. Entire cosmos. This is the origin. Just see the efficacy of it. Somebody who's got a lisping problem, who's got a speech disorder, just ask him to chant this 40 days, and I can guarantee you his lisping, his speech would be absolutely fine. You have memory issues, you want to sharpen your memory, start chanting this Maheshwar Sutras. Your creative faculty will increase. Your capacity to memorize things will increase tremendously. That's the beauty. Because after all, what is it? Vibration. Vibration. So that vibration is affected. So very basic step that you can see. And also I can suggest, because intellectual exploration for us who are intellectually oriented, the mind will not accept till the time the intellectual exploration starts. So I think the basic Bhagavad Gita is a beautiful book to read. Every time you read, there is a new learning. There is a new lesson that comes. There is a new understanding which develops. And you can't read it like a normal book. A lot of people make this mistake of reading Bhagavad Gita like a normal book. What I read is when I meditate, so that's where in my meditation room is the Bhagavad Gita. I read 3 shlokas, then meditate, contemplate, reflect and assimilate on these 3. Contemplate, your meditation is on those 3 shlokas. I took about a year to finish Bhagavad Gita. That is why the Bhagavad Gita has to be read. And there are very easy books also, like The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. For I think for modern world, that's a very good beginner. That's a very good manual to begin your spiritual journey. The Secret by Rhonda Byrne is again a good book. The power of the law of attraction, the power of positive thinking. The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale is again a very famous. So I think these 2, for a starter, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, The Secret and The Power of Positive Thinking. I think these 3 are a very good book to start. Then you can shift to Bhagavad Gita. And one of the most beautiful and outstanding book, Vivek Chudamani, is written by Shankaracharya. Vivek is discrimination and Chuda is the crest, and money is the jewel. So this is the crest jewel of discrimination. So this is the ultimate, non-duality, this is the ultimate. In discrimination, this is the ultimate. And my own, this thing is the one in which the commentary has been given by Swami Chinmayananda. This is a book I gift to everybody. It's a beautiful book. Again, it has to be read, like I said, Bhagavad Gita has to be read. 2-3 shlokas, and if it could be more if they are connected shlokas, but sit back, reflect, meditate, contemplate, assimilate. This is the way to read. I think if you just do this, you are on the path.
One last topic before we go today is going to be the topic of ego.
Yes.
People misunderstand the aspect of ego, but ego is omnipresent. Ego is present in every conversation, even this one.
True.
Can you explain people ego and how to be a better person and raise our vibration to live in harmony with nature?
Shivam, very important question you raised, because this is the biggest thing. This is the biggest thing. To take care of the ego is the most important. That is the way to start this particular journey. Have a look at a child who's below 5 years of age. You will never find a morose child. He is happy. He doesn't need even this thing. He'll find a twig, he will start playing with it. He is hungry, he will shout. He is hungry. And once he's, he gets the milk, he's back to his normal self. Now he doesn't have ego. They say the ego doesn't develop till the age of 5 years. Till the age of 5 years. So he is ego, and that's why he's spontaneous. He's always smiling. He's happy. And if there is a cause, then he will cry. He will not feel sad. He will cry. He will not
Straight away.
Straight away he will cry. Get whatever he wants and get on with it. The ego starts developing after 5 years. So what is ego? Ego has got 2 attributes. One is the prarabdha, because the soul comes attached with your vritti and vasanas which are there. That means imprint of the earlier birth. जैसे 84 लाख योनि के बाद आए तो पता नहीं कहाँ भटके हो आप.
True.
So all that you are carrying with you. So that comes bundled with your soul. You are going to behave in accordance with that. So that is part of your ego. The second is conditioning in this mind. So your mother is the first one to condition.
Hmm.
ये गलत है, ये सही है, इसको नहीं करना, वो अंकल आए इनके साथ ऐसे बात करनी है, ठीक है. So we are conditioning. Friends will start conditioning. The schools will start conditioning. Universities will start conditioning. The workplace will start conditioning. So by and by, you are moving away from your actual self and you are developing an identity of yourself. That identity of yourself, which is actually a false identity of yourself, that is what is ego. So when I ask you, who are you? Okay, who are you? You say, I'm Shivam. Well, Shivam is your name. Then you say, I'm doing so and so. Well, that's your profession. But that is not you. You are someone who's beyond mind. You are that awareness. That awareness is Shivam. I'll explain it to you. You are a child, Shivam, and you looked at in the mirror. You know that there is a presence. This is me. Now when you look in the mirror, well, you have changed, Shivam. Your body has changed. Your mind also has changed. Your thought process has changed. Your emotions have changed. But you still look in the mirror and you know, yes, that is me. The body, mind, everything has changed. But that presence, that awareness, I am not talking of the ego I am talking of that awareness I. Now you had a dream, and in dream everything was there. It was real, absolutely real. You suddenly wake up, and you say, oh, it was a dream. Who saw the dream? And then one day you get up in the morning and you say, oh, I had wonderful sleep, a dreamless sleep. Well, now in this sleep, even the dream was also not there. Who experienced that dreamless sleep? I'm talking of that awareness. That awareness was constant, Shivam, when you were a child, and 20, 30, 40 years hence. It's a constant thing. When you're dreaming or you're in a non-dreaming state, in all state, that sense awareness, you just have to stay. And you have to that other I am Shivam, I am so and so, I am this thing. That is the ego. So you don't have to discard that. The moment you start associating yourself with the real awareness and consciousness, that ego will fall. That ego will fall. That is the best way to resolve this ego.
Wow. But it can never go if you're living in a materialistic world.
You know, but you can detach. That's why I say that one of the best, while I have given you a lot about as to what to do in a practical approach and in a practical way, but I think one of the most finite ways, something like National Defence Academy. Okay, I get selected as a civilian in a National Defence Academy, but at the end of 3 years and 1 year in IMA, I am an officer.
Yeah.
So the surest and the definite way of going and treading the path of spirituality is the Ashtanga Yoga.
Okay.
Ashtanga Yoga. I've told you, I'm not saying that you have to follow Ashtanga Yoga. I've told you a number of things that you can follow. But Ashtanga Yoga is it's like NDA, National Defence Academy of Spirituality. Because Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. These are the Eightfold Path. What are these Eightfold Path? Yam, positivity in everything. Niyam, discipline. That's what I told you. Positive, you ought to have a positive approach. So I have told you, broken down in very practical, but I am talking about the same Ashtanga Yoga. Yam, Niyam, you have to have a discipline. Asan, your body should be healthy. If your body is not healthy, then well, the spirituality, you can't approach the spirituality. Your body has to be healthy. Asana. Then pranayam, you should be able to, pranayam is a life sense. Imagine, a lot of people ask me number of techniques of meditation. There are 112 techniques of meditation given by Adi Yogi, Lord Shiva himself. 112 techniques. Osho has written a book, the Book of Secret. There are 108 techniques of meditation that has been outlined in that. But techniques are not important. It's your breath. Breath is the most important. So hum. Inhalation is so, exhalation is hum. Every breath of yours is making a sound, so hum. And what does soham in Sanskrit means? It is swa aham, made up of two words. Swa aham, that I am. So every breath of yours is telling you, Shivam, you are not this body, you are not the mind, you are not the thought, you are not the emotion. You are not that I am. You are beyond it. You are that awareness, that consciousness. That is what you are. Every breath of yours. So breath, and when someone dies, what happens? Everything is there. The musculoskeletal system is there, organs are there, blood is there, everything. What is not there? The breath is not there. So your breath is the vehicle that connects your body with that consciousness, with that prana. That infuses the Chaitanya man, what you call Chaitanya. That infuses the Chaitanya in you, that Chaitana in you. And when that Chaitana breaks, everything is there, but you are not alive. then the Shiv becomes Shav. In the absence of consciousness and the life energy, the Shiv becomes the Shav. And you become the Shiv when you are attached with your consciousness.
Wow.
That is what you become the Shiv. So breath and focusing, you just don't have to do anything. But there's a technique that I can share with everybody. Soham, you have to do nothing at all. Just sit straight. Your spine has to be erect. Your spine has to be straight. Why spine has to be erect is because all your pranic flow, all energy flow is all along. There are 7 energy chakras and the energy is flowing through them. So you sit erect in the posture. You could be on a seat, you could be in Sukhasana, you could be in Padmasana, whatever is suiting you. You could be in a chair, but spine has to be erect. And you close your eyes. There is a method of closing your eyes. You bring the upper lid to the lower lid. Not both the lids together, upper lid to the, that's how you close your eyes. And observe your breath. That's it. You don't start breathing deeply or shallow. Just observe your breath. That's it. What will happen? The moment you observe your breath, there is a beautiful and a very profound thing happens. What happens is, now your focus and your awareness is in the breath. And when people say that whenever they sit in meditation, the thoughts come with equal force, you can't directly control the thoughts. Sorry, that's a wrong approach. The moment you put your awareness into breath, your thoughts will automatically drop. You can try it. You can either observe the breath or you are thinking. So what is going to happen? At first, you will start thinking. Doesn't matter. You come back to the breath. So earlier it will be there. This oscillation and this shift will keep taking place. As you keep graduating in this, you will be able to hold your focus onto the breath more and more time. You take it to the count of 100 or something like this. So that is the best way of meditation, Soham meditation, to connect with yourself. It is the most beautiful thing.
So often we mistake the word meditation by stopping all thoughts, but that is not the case. That is again a myth.
Absolutely.
We need to acknowledge the thought and let it go.
What happens is, okay, even when you are doing this Soham, thought will come. You will start giving energy to that thought. On a, let's say today the clouds are there. You just lie down on the ground and have a look at the cloud.
Keep passing.
So there is the vastness of the blue sky. That's the screen. And the clouds are floating. So your consciousness and your awareness should be there on that vastness expanse of the blue sky. The clouds are the one which are thoughts. So they are coming and they are dissipating. Okay. So you should focusing on the screen, on the sky and not on the cloud. The moment you look at the cloud, then the clouds will entangle you. The thoughts will enter. You are energizing the thought. It is not the thought that are making a problem. You're energizing.
You're attaching an emotion.
You're attaching an emotion and energizing and thinking that thought is the issue. So I tell people that it's not rocket science. It's a very simple thing to do. You create a space between you and your thought.
Wow.
So what happens is, we are so driven by the thought that we become the thought. That is when I say that you are not living. I tell people, please start living. So for the time that you are taking bath, stay with the bath. Be in the moment. You're having your breakfast, be in the moment. Okay? Not that you just keep taking bath the entire day or you keep enjoying your breakfast, but till the time you are there, be mindful and be in the moment. Be in the moment. So what you do is that you create a space between the mind and you. So now what is happening is, you are looking at the thoughts. You are observing the thoughts from a neutral standpoint. Earlier, you were the thought yourself, living like a zombie, unmindful, not conscious at all. Your thoughts are driving you. The thoughts which are supposed to be your instrument have enslaved you.
Wow.
But now when you develop this, now you have the capacity to go with the thought or not to go with the thought. The moment you create this separation.
Wow.
Just observe your thoughts. That's the best way.
Wow. So this has been such a beautiful conversation, but it must come to an end as well. But before we go, there are 2 very personal questions I ask all my guests. Since this podcast is called Diary of a Publisher, I must ask you, and I probably know your answer already, what is one book you wish you would have read earlier in life? So, one particular book that changed your perspective of life and you wish ye maine pehle bachpan mein padhi.
I think Vivek Chudamani and Bhagavad Gita. These are 2 classic. I think if you read, I think I should have read it maybe as early as possible. And then, one would have this thing. I think these 2 are timeless classics. If you read these 2, you don't have to go looking for the third one.
And
The entire distillate is within these two books.
You make sure to gift that book as well. I received that
Yes.
book myself and I'm reading it currently. Must tell you so.
True.
Second and the last question for today is, what is one piece of advice you would give to your younger self, sir? To someone who is trying to be in your path, the path of being an army commander now, someone as a young army officer, what is one piece of advice you will tell your younger self?
I think stay in tune with yourself is the most important thing. To be attuned to yourself is the most important thing. And to have pride in the uniform. It's like I said, the biggest honor that the country can give it to you is to make you wear a uniform and to give you this onerous task of defending the sovereignty and the integrity of the nation. I think to have pride in the uniform for a young officer is the most important thing. And to be established in yourself. I think that is the most important thing.
Wow.
Okay? And take life as it comes. Enjoy life. I tell people, I said, don't start thinking I'll become this, I'll become that, I'll do this, I'll do that. Take as it comes. Plan. I'm not saying that you plan. Like when I say that don't dwell in the past, you dwell in the past, learn lessons, but stay in the moment. You plan, go in the future, plan, but stay in the moment.
Like an infant.
Like an infant. Like an infant.
Yeah,
so you can do this. You can do this. So enjoy the journey.
Wow.
I think to reach the destination is not this thing. You must have your eyes set on the destination, all right? But please do not stop enjoying the journey. Life is a beautiful journey. Every moment has to be cherished. Every moment has to be enjoyed. I think that's living life to the fullest. And before since you already asked me the last question, I always tell people that all are this thing, we've got such timeless wisdom that has been handed over to us. Like I do Durga Shapshati, and there's a beautiful Navaran mantra in this. Om, Eng, Gring, Kling, Chamundai, Vichche. Everybody knows, most of the people know about this month. You do a home also in this month, but nobody knows the meaning of it. And imagine the meaning is so profound. The meaning is so, he says, Hey Brahma Rupini, Hey Mahashakti, मुझे ब्रह्म में स्थित कर, गति मति निर्मलता शांति और स्थिरता प्रदान कर. हे क्षमा मूर्ति, मुझे मर्यादा में रख, शीलवान विनम्र और विजयी बना, दुख रोग भय और संकटों से मेरी रक्षा कर. हे आनंदमयी माँ, मुझे मधुरता प्रेम प्रसन्नता उत्साह भावना सिद्धि संपन्नता तुष्टि और पूर्णता प्रदान कर. परम पराक्रम वाली अजय रौद्र रूपिणी चंडी के प्रसन्न हो जाए. Every attribute has been sought from the mother divine, from that energy. Every attribute. So, it doesn't have to be a transactional thing. You ask the divinity to empower you to go through the vicissitudes of life. You ask for empowerment and you don't ask, let anything come then. If you are empowered, let any obstacle come, anything come. You have the capacity now and the capability to go through it. That is what you need to ask from divinity.
Getting the strength to be a better person.
Absolutely.
Wow. What a beautiful conversation, sir. Thank you so much for your time and your energy, sir. This has been an insightful conversation for me, and I'm sure it's been for the audience as well.
Thank you very much.
If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Until then, keep reimagining yourself and know that the power of change lies within you.